Hey guys, how you doing? This is 1bit, back with some Warframe action. Alright, let's see what's going on here. This is update 8. I guess I can do kind of a brief overview. If you had just logged on to Warframe for the first time and hadn't experienced update 8, basically what you would have to do is you would go here into this void key section and you would have a blueprint. You would have to go over to the foundry and you would have to create your key. Now I've already done that but the way it was working on the first day is let's say you had a clan invite in your list. If you created your key and you clicked on your key, even if you had an invite, it would send you to the place that you were invited to. So just be aware of that. Like if you have any invites and you don't want to join that clan, make sure you delete the invites, or you might have to create a new key, because it'll just, once you click on that key, it will bind it to the first place. I don't know if they've patched that out, if they've fixed that or not, but just be aware of that. So let's say you want to create a clan. You go over to your contacts and clan, and you enter the name and you start the clan, and then you come over and you click your key and you use, and you enter it just like a level. Now this is the Great Hall. This is your basically your starting area whenever you're in, and from there you create these structures. Now this area is a generator. You know, I basically made this place, this is just a solo clan, so it doesn't have much in the way of resources. You can see like the numbers here are ridiculous. So me personally, no, I don't want to cancel the vote, but I want to get out of here. How do I get out of here? Okay. Because the numbers are so high right now, I have to either grind my arse off, and this is like a hallway structure. Basically, let's see, do I want to cancel this? No, I'm going to cancel it. I guess I could, just to show you the different structures that you can make off of it, but basically off of this hall, the way this area works is you have to have energy in order to continue to build hallways, so you have to build a generator. You could probably start with a T connector, which is what that other side was, and from the T connector you can move on and add a generator, and then off of the generator you can add different research facilities that will allow you to build some clan exclusive weapons into the game. If you're like myself and you want to have a smaller size guild, then probably it's going to be next to impossible, at least so far in the game. Any MMO that I've ever been in, I've always been a guild leader, or so I'm not interested in being in part of 1,000-member guilds and nonsense like that. So I'm just gonna stick with this until they adjust it and tone down the resources necessary. So There's my dojo. I'm actually up on the forums. If you're interested in getting into a smaller clan, PM me and I'll add you in. That simple. But right now, pretty much the clans are, you know, people at least 200 or more. Most of the clans, so they're all like pretty big clans, and then there's quite a few clans that have like thousands of members and things like that. I think DE actually has a clan. I think DE Rebecca started a clan that's on the forums as well. So there's kind of one, basically if you want to get into a clan, there's like a DE run clan, so you can get into that one too. Dueling you can do from inside of the dojo and all that fun stuff. I know the weapons that you can get up there are supposed to be kind of ridiculous in the degree of power. There's no real comparable weapons in the game at this point. I know there's supposed to be a rocket launcher, a flamethrower, and you're going to see these on the who has them? The Grenier have these new weapons. You're going to see the flamethrower, the rocket launcher, and what else was it? The flamethrower, rocket launcher, and a couple of other ones I think that you can make. But you're going to see in game the Grenier have these weapons. You're going to see there's a couple. They've added new Grenier tile sets, and also the Grenier enemies are going to be using those weapons, and you can actually build those ones if you get into a clan that has enough resources. Myself, I'm not going to really worry about it right now. Let's go to market and let's show you some of the new weapons. They have added the kunai. This goes into a pistol slot. They're super fast to reload. They have a travel distance, but it seems like it's lightning quick. Once you get a speed mod in there, they just fly out really quick. I have them actually on my my character. I'll show you once I get into a game. So they added that. They added the dual Broncos. I'm pretty sure they added the dual Broncos in this one. I don't think there was. They had. I think it was just single before. So they added dual. They added the Volker that replaced the Snipetron. The Snipetron is no longer available in game, so if you don't already have it, then you can't pick it up. I think basically what the wiki says is the Volker does not have the armor pen that the Snipetron has, but it actually has, I believe, 25 more damage. Let me just check that real quick, because I actually do have a Snipetron. Good. Snipetron is 100 and the Volker is 125. Yes, so it has 25 more damage. The fire rate and accuracy are exactly the same. So the only advantage that the Snipetron has is that it ignores armor. It has innate armor penetration. So it's just a little bit better for Grenier. Volker is better for everything else just because it has the damage. And really, I mean, the armor pen, I guess, is somewhat of an advantage. Now that they have the prestige system, not as much, because you can eventually prestige the weapon enough times that you can just add it on anyway and have added damage. So I don't know, hopefully they'll make some adjustments for people that have the Snipetron to keep it relevant in the game. We'll see. I mean, you can say that basically you get a free mod if you stick with the Snipetron. Let's go back here and check out the other weapons though that they've added. Dual cleavers are new. Machete is new. And they've also added the blueprints for those things. And they also have the weapons that you can get inside of the the clan area, basically. Once you get up your research facilities and things, and all those things are highlighted on the wiki. The Orikin Towers. Now let's talk about this. The Orikin Towers. Basically, if you want to get into an Orikin Tower, the only way that I've found that you can do that is by going to here. Where is it? Equipment. Buying a void key pack for 75 platinum, which is $4.99 or $5, you get the ability to get 5 random void keys, and they will take you to 5 random areas within the void. I have not purchased this. I have no intention on purchasing it. I would encourage other people not to purchase this. Essentially what they're doing, they're selling you a map pack that expires after you use it 5 times. You don't get to keep these void keys. You use them 5 times, then they go away. So for $5, you get to play 5 maps, and then those maps go away, and then you need to pay $5 more if you want to explore those maps again. Now understand, in those areas you can get the blueprints in order to make the completed Frost Prime. You can also get, there's a Latron, a new Latron, it's called the Latron Prime that you can make. So this is actually just the main blueprint for it that you got from the weekend event, or most people got from the weekend event. If you didn't get this from the weekend event, you're kind of screwed. I don't believe that this drops. But all of these other parts, you get them from the void. So basically, you'd have to probably buy several of those void packs and enter into the void, and really the only thing that you're going to get there is the parts for this. You're going to get the parts for the Latron Prime, and I believe there's also a Reaper Prime, which is a, let's go on the market and bundles. It's a scythe, and the only other way to get a scythe is if you get the What Stalker pack, and the What Stalker pack includes all of the Stalker's weapons. You get the scythe, you get the bow and arrow, and the kunai, and all of these are ridiculously OP. So at least for now, it's a pretty good buy. I went ahead and bought it. I'm using it right now. Let's see. But when it comes to the, let's go here. Weapons. Alright, no, it's equipment. When it comes to the void keys, I mean, I would say that this is one of the first major missteps that they've made in the game with the void key packs, because, you know, like, really think about this. You're paying $5 just to play, like, it's like playing for these nodes individually. I mean, like, think about that. You know, like, let's say you traveled 5 different nodes. I mean, how often do you do a node in this game? I mean, most people you play all day. How many nodes do you do in a day? 20, 30, 100? But you're just getting 5, and then that's it. And it's cost you $5. That is a ridiculous amount of money for the amount of game that you're getting. You know, I understand that this is a free-to-play game, but the monetization, the way that they've chosen to monetize, and the fact that this is new content, and now they're charging you just like nickel and diming you for it, is kind of ridiculous. So I would highly suggest, and I see people doing videos and they're buying this, but this is not the way that the content should be monetized at all. This is bad for gaming in general. And then this is another issue. This is a forma. If you want to build rooms inside of your mega clan, you basically have to buy this stuff. It's that simple. You got to buy this stuff. and this is part of the construction process, and that's another problem. Pay money to make your clan rooms, and that's problematic for multiple reasons. The most obvious being that you get to spend real world money to pay for a room, and that's one of the reasons that I'm in a solo clan right now. I have to pay real world money to contribute to build a room. So what happens if I get killed out? I get kicked out of that clan. What happens then? I've paid real world money to build a room in a clan that potentially you can get kicked out of for, if the warlord gets a wild hair up his ass. Like, did they really think this system through? It's ridiculous. It's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. And again, people aren't really talking about that aspect of it. I see people, they've they've built their rooms, and it's all fun and games right now. But I think these are systems that right now they don't seem like a big deal, that people are going to really have a backlash against later on, like the Void Key. The fact that it's $5 real world money. I mean, when you have a founders pack and you have thousands and thousands of credits, 75 doesn't seem that much. But when you break it down and you actually see, okay, that's $5, it's going to matter once these credits run through. And I really feel like maybe that they're going for this system just so they can burn through your credits. I noticed that a lot of the weapons, that they've increased the price for the weapons, and that's fine. I mean, me personally, I feel that when it comes to the weapons in the game, I don't mind paying for the weapons. I don't mind paying for the skins, because that's something that you're going to get and you're going to keep it. The worst case scenario, they decide to, say, nerf a weapon that you had and was really powerful and that you loved, and then it's not as useful as it used to be, but you get to keep these items permanently in the game, opposed to I get to play this area 5 times and then my $5 is gone for what? What did I get out of it? A piece of a mech, maybe, and then I have to keep forking over my $5 for the right to come in and play this new content. I mean, I think this is 100% the wrong direction for this game to be going, because you have to ask yourself, once you burn through all of these credits, is that how the end game of Warframe is going to be in the future updates? Are you going to have to continually pay $5 to play the new content? $5, $10, $15, $20, $30 in order to experience new content in this game? Compare that to games like, say, League of Legends, games like Dota 2. In comparison, if I'm playing Dota 2, I can play the full game, the whole game, every part of the game. I never have to pay for any heroes. I never have to buy anything. And I choose if I want to put an outfit on my character, and I have to pay for that outfit. If I want to make my character look unique, I pay for it. That's their free-to-play model. Or let's look at one like League of Legends. League of Legends free-to-play model. They keep coming up with new champions, new heroes, and they charge a fee for those heroes. If you want to try and experience those heroes, or you can go and every single week they have a selection of the heroes, because they have hundreds and hundreds of heroes in that game, and you can go in and you can try them out and see what they play like. And then if after you've tried them out for free during that week that they have the free ones available, then you can go ahead and pay real world money and buy them. Now I feel like a system more along the lines of League of Legends could work in this game, and the reason I say that is because currently the way the system works in this game, everything that you can buy here you can get with in-game credits, and that is one of the reasons that they kind of have this, what I feel like is a nickel and diming system going on, because they must not be making any money with the current system, because you can access all these weapons in game, so people are just buying them and are getting the blueprints off the market with real world money. or not real world money, but with in-game money, like this. All of this is in-game money. So even these new weapons, see, and I think that this is the problem here, is that they're allowing people to basically not help support the game with their current monetization, and then now people who have supported the game are getting nickel and dime with real world money transactions as a result. So I feel like the League of Legends, the way that they have it set up, where these things wouldn't be available, where let's say you could try let's say they had the fragger heck or whatever as level 30, and for a week they had these weapons available to you. So you come in, they're level 30, you get to play them, try them out, and experience what they're like at a level 30, and you can have them for free for a week. That would be great. That would work. And then after that week, they're gone. They're out of your inventory. Any mods you put on them, they go back into your inventory, and those weapons, you can't touch them or use them until you actually go out and buy them. That system would make sense. And the new content that comes into the game, the new maps that come into the game, you should have 100% access to them at all times. You shouldn't have to pay for a map pack that disappears after you use it. That is the most ridiculous thing. If this was any other shooter, the entire fan base would be up in arms. Can you imagine if, say, Call of Duty, they had a brand new map pack that released, and you had to actually pay every single time that you played a level? Think about how many times that you queue up for a shooter and you play a level. Every single time that you queued up, you had to actually pay. Or every 5th time that you queued up, you had to pay, because that's what this system is. It's ridiculous. I personally, Grandmaster, I support the game. I will not support this system. So that needs changed. More people need to be talking about it, because it's completely ridiculous monetization. I'm going to get off that subject, and we're going to get into some other things. Let's see. Talked about clans. Oh, okay. Let's just do a quick update. There is some other new stuff that they put out. Bundles, Warframes. Well, since my last video, they had the Vauban. Everybody knows about him. They also added the Death Cube as a, what do they call it? A new Sentinel. And in the process, they pretty much made Worm obsolete. I mean, my advice is, if you're going to buy two, if you want an offensive and a defensive right now, Shade and Death Cube are the way to go. And if you just want an offensive Sentinel, then Death Cube is the only one you need right now, because he is ridiculously powerful. I've just stood on maps and just, like, at this level, when you first get him, he's not going to be too great. Obviously, when they first start, you can't put any precepts. You can't put any precepts in them, so they're just floating by your side. But after they've leveled him up a little bit, he'll just shred enemies, and you'll get to see that briefly. Obviously, I'm not on the same frame that I was last time. I managed to max out my Loki. I maxed out my Volt, and the first one I did was Frost, so I got those 3 maxed out. I'm just kind of on the Rhino for a bit. I'm kind of just trying to max out these weapons right now. Once I get these weapons maxed out, I'm probably going to switch over to where is this guy? The new guy, the new kid on the block, Vauban. The reason I'm going to switch over to Vauban is I was trying to kind of devise a plan for prestiging a Warframe. I think out of the current set of Warframes, probably the strongest Warframes across the board are probably going to be the Vauban, Frost, and Nyx. And the reason I say that is currently the meta in the game, I mean, other than the Orikin Towers, which you got to pay for to play, it's a pay-to-play area, in my opinion. So I'm not going to be doing that with any consistency, and I don't think anybody else in the community is going to continually play those areas. I think it's, you know, it's one of those things that because you have to pay for it, it's not going to be a part of the game's continual meta. You know, it's just going to fall off eventually as people start running out of real money credits, or whatever the heck, or platinum, whatever they call it. So the end game meta is really centered around defense missions. Nyx shines in defense missions because she can take those ancients and turn them against one another with her mind control abilities. Frost is great there because of his snow globe and his AoE abilities, and Vauban is really good with the AoE as well. So I would say that those three are kind of the god tier in Warframe right now when it comes to their abilities. And out of the three, it's probably going to come down between Nyx and Vauban for the number one spot. The only reason I say that is that Vauban can pretty much do the same things that Frost can do. I mean, Frost has the snow globe, which is this kind of shield, and it stops anything from like, say, ranged attacks or things from going in. It also prevents you from, let's say, your range shooting in through the shield, though, which can be somewhat problematic. In comparison, what Vauban does, he puts a AoE shield up, and it's almost like a combination of the Rhino's stasis ability, like, or when he does his stomp and he picks up everybody off the ground. Basically, you build a shield in an area, which can be changed. The area of it can be increased with mods, and basically nothing can enter it. Anything that is inside of it gets lifted off the ground. You do a ton of damage to them. In addition to that ability, he also has an ability that is a vortex that sucks everybody in, and they get disintegrated. It kind of works similar to Saren's, I believe it's called Miasma. And there's not really damage numbers, but it does a crap ton of damage. So I think, like, probably the higher level mobs aren't going to get insta-gibbed by it, but low level stuff will usually get blown up by it. He also has a jump ability called Bounce, which you throw a circle on the ground, then you can, you know, jump off of it. It's pretty much a useless ability. And the last ability, which is very powerful, is his grenade, which he can throw multiple grenades. It's called Tesla, actually. And he throws multiple grenades. He can actually throw them on people, too. And whenever somebody gets close to the grenade, and of course it can be modified too so that it has an insanely large reach, it will shoot out a line of electricity, and he can have multiple instances of that down. So for that reason, because he can throw multiple grenades down, because he can put up a shield and basically prevent forward movement through the shield, I think that actually makes him a little bit stronger in the damage department and the crowd control department compared to Frost. So that's why I'm thinking that he's probably going to be the best, but it's really going to come down to, can he take out the Ancients in the same way as Nyx? I think God tier is probably looking like, you know, it's still these three, because Frost is still really good when it comes to defending the pod, especially if you're fighting corpus defense missions. But the Nyx's ability to just, you know, turn the Ancients against each other, you know, I've seen Nyx, like maybe like 2 Nyxes that are able to do like up to level 30 or beyond missions, just, you know, spamming that ability. So you know, it's kind of, you know, it could go either way, but I'm going to go with Vauban for the person that I'm going to try to prestige first. The reason I'm going to go with him is because he has kind of a probably middle of the road health stats. So I want to have kind of a tanky build with him. I'm probably going to build shielding and vitality, and just build everything around tankiness, and also extending my reach, extending my my energy levels and everything, so I can just continually have up my grenades and have up all of the AoE spamming and things, so that I can be effective during the defense missions. So that's the next hero I'm going to level up. I'm basically just sticking with Rhino until I max these weapons, since they're so close to being maxed. Yeah, this is almost up. And I'm probably going to just toss on a couple of my weapons. After I get... Yeah. After this goes up, I'll probably just toss the weapon, the scythe that I want to use. Let me just put this on so show it to you. It has some amazing animations too. But I'm probably going to toss that on, and some of the other things. Basically my build, once I get him going, let me just show you what I'm going to go with for him. I'm going to go with that. Gorgon. And dual Broncos. With the hate. And the idea is probably going to, pretty much, I'm going to stick with the same Sentinel as well. Basically, this Sentinel, he has a mini Gorgon. So he's putting a ridiculous amount of rounds down range. So I'm basically going to have 2 Gorgons by going with this build. So I'm going to be able to put out a ridiculous amount of damage when it comes to just spraying down the creeps coming at me. The dual Broncos, so now I'm going to have... with the dual Broncos clip capacity, you basically... what some people were saying on the forums is that it's almost like having a heck in your pocket. Or having a heck as your secondary, so... because you have the 4 rounds now. So, I don't know if it's as effective, but I'm definitely going to rock that and see what it's like. And then the hate has the most powerful charge attack in the game right now. The second closest, the Dark Sword, which is a ultra rare drop, only has 125 charge damage. This does 200, so it has 75 over that, with a 1 second increase in the charge time. But once you modify, I have right now the Dark Sword on, and the charge time is just ridiculously fast. You just hold down the button for millisecond, and immediately you can start charging. So even with that increased charge time, the amount of damage increase is so ridiculous that I think that this is going to be a superior weapon. So basically this whole build is about being tanky. The hate also cleaves multiple enemies, so cleaving a lot of damage, taking care of big waves of enemies, and just being in the thick of it. So he's going to have the ability to tank up onto the pod in the defense missions and just do the absolute most amount of damage possible. So that's probably the guy that you're going to see when I start doing my actual end game videos. But for now, let me switch back to... where's my boy at? Rhino. And one of the other reasons that I went with Rhino is just because he's been getting a lot of hate lately as far as his the nerfs. And I have to say that maybe the first level, when he was level 1, it was an issue with using him, and I haven't actually played him prior to the nerfs, so I can't say how great he used to be, but he's still pretty awesome as he is. Now, enough talking. I think it's about time we went and found something to kill. Let's just go ahead and go into this mission. And we'll go over a few more things. Now, when it comes to the Grind to Max level series, probably not going to keep it exactly the way it was. I think I'm probably going to transition it and make it more into episodic content that probably centers around the prestige system. Now, when it comes to prestiging, basically once you get to level 30, and they have another name for the system, it's not strictly called prestige, but that's pretty much what it is. Basically what you're going to be able to do, let me show you real quick, is let me swap in a weapon that's already level 30 like this. So once you have this weapon in there, you can get the forma, which you have to pay for, which I'm fine with the fact that you have to pay for the forma for this, because this is actually giving you, it's basically you're modifying your weapon, so that's fine that you have to pay for it. But basically you can add a polarization slot, and I'm assuming it's going to be a polarization slot of your choosing, so you're going to put whatever the best option is for the type of mods that you're using, and then you're going to start over at level 1 and you're going to level it up to 30 again. And then once you get to that max level, and since I haven't done it before, I don't know that this is true, but I'm assuming you can prestige it again and then put in another one and another one, another one, another one, until you get polarizations for every single slot. So basically, before, the concept of the Grind to Max level series was that I was going to be in a different frame and leveling up my hero, or Warframe rather, and you were going to see me as I was grinding up the Warframes. But now with the addition of the prestige system, that's why I want to center it more around one frame and get them to the absolute max with every single slot polarized, so that you can see what that's like. Because I'm assuming that since once you polarize every slot, those Warframes are going to be extremely powerful. I'm hoping that by that time, once people get it at that level, that they're going to have content that meets that difficulty or that strength on those Warframes. And since I'm going to assume that they will have some content that's going to be strong enough to match those extremely strong Warframes, I want to have probably, in my mind, what is the best Warframe in that position. So that's why you can look forward to seeing Xavien more than likely in the future videos, and I'll probably change the name of the series to something else, but it is going to be back.
Okay, you are looking for the ship's navigation system. It's critical that you deliver the payload to that location. Keep going. Nobody knows you're on this vessel. You're on the sensors now. You've been detected.
All right. You can see the speed. I have a speed mod in these. These aren't the kunai. These are actually the ones you get with the Stalker pack. So they have a higher base damage, but they do a ridiculous amount of damage very quickly. And their speed is just ridiculous. Now you're going to see me doing this quite a bit, where I'm running, I'm sliding, and then I jump. This is actually the fastest way to move in the game. You're going to see a lot of people, what they do is they run, slide, and then they use the attack. But you don't really move as far a distance if you jump. Or as far as you would if you would jump. Because the jump actually propels you forward and up at the same time. And I'm pretty sure this is... This is like the most powerful sidearm in the game. Although I haven't tried the dual Broncos yet, but I might have to end up prestiging this if the dual Broncos aren't comparable to this. But the despair is ridiculous, and you can see my the death cube putting in work right now. He's just shredding these enemies. I'm not even gonna attack this guy. Wait. I want to find somebody by themselves so that I can just show you the amount of damage he's able to do so quickly. I really feel like with all the new toys they put in the game, one of the major problems that's coming through in the game now is just difficulty. The fact that there's not difficulty to match the amount of power that the Warframes are capable of bringing to bear. Now, in addition to a kind of wave dashing, you can also combine using these crates and doing side wall runs to propel yourself forward. Okay. Oh. So these guys are killing everything. It's making it difficult for me to... I'll probably get out of this level and I'll do a solo level just so I can show you the power of this thing, which is pretty ridiculous. Now I have quite a few mods on it as well. I think I have all the elemental mods on it. Yeah, he just one-shot him with his vaporize ability. So I think it's pretty evident just by that the fact that he can one-shot mobs, he's pretty strong. I'm not even gonna attack him. I'm just gonna let this guy take care of him. Yeah, you see all this, that elemental abilities, because I have pretty much everything on him. I have armor pen, fire, ice, and electricity on him. That's why you see these guys getting lit up with all this elemental damage. And I believe I also have, yep, he got vaporized. I don't even have to attack anything. I just run around. I gotta go this way. Vaporized. Oh, missed this mod. Oh, is he out of ammo? Oh, I guess these guys are just dead. I have to say I've never actually run into an instance where my guys run out of ammo, so I don't know about putting any ammo mods, if they even have any effect on these Sentinels at all. Or if they just automatically have infinite ammo or what. I know you can put them on there, but I don't know if they actually have an effect. I don't know if anybody actually tested it. Yeah, I'll show you what I have on him after this video. You can see how quickly he just got shredded. I wasn't even doing any damage. I'm just gonna walk around through this level. Just let my little buddy take care of everything. Alright, so they're gonna open the door. Hello? Ugh. I don't know why everybody's running that one when the door's back here. But Thank you, Warframe Suspect Wall Run System, for sucking. Alright. And we're at the end here. I didn't really shoot much of anything. I wonder if it's going to give me a decent score as a result. Because I don't really know if your Sentinel's damage and things get factored in. Probably not. Yeah, it's pretty low. But fire accuracy is low, yeah. Oh, at least I got all the upgrades. That's what I care about. And I completed that, so I got the cash. Not that I really need it, but let's go into Arsenal. And I'll show you how I got this guy equipped right now. Yeah, so I got speed trigger on him. You want that on him, so you absolutely increase his attack speed to the maximum. Serration. Serration is a very difficult mod to level up. I just have the base version of it on him. Obviously, you're going to want to have your main leveled up Serration on your weapon, but the second Serration you get, I would highly suggest putting on a Death Cube instead of putting on your pistol, because if you think about the amount of times that you actually pull out your pistol and use it compared to the amount of consistent DPS that you saw that this Death Cube was able to put out, I think Serration mod, your second Serration mod, should definitely go on a Death Cube. Piercing hit, you want armor penetration, cryo rounds for just basically just slow down the enemy. Hellfire is gonna set them on fire. It's gonna be effective. It's gonna make Corpus flow around, but it's gonna be more effective against the infested and. Of course, Stormbringer Electric is very effective against the Corpus. Now, I thought there was armor. No, okay, there's armor pen. But there's also something else I want to put on here. Actually, I wasn't able to put it on. That's what happened. I wasn't able to put it on before because I didn't have enough capacity, but I think I do now. And this mod is the last effect that you definitely want in Thunderclap. You want to get this on. So this is pretty much how I'm going to run. This last slot, I'm going to probably put max crit damage. No, not crit chance, but crit damage is, it's not point strike, there's another name for it. And I don't think I have a spare one. I might have a spare one to show you. I'll show you on my main weapon. This actually takes rifle mods. These are all rifle mods. Every Sentinel is different. The Shade, it takes pistol mods. I believe the Worm also takes rifle mods. Yeah, Vital Sense. There we go. Yeah, this increases the crit damage. So whenever it does crit, it actually increases the amount of damage to crit. So I'll slap this on there. So it's just going to help maximize damage. And then I'm just going to increase these as high as I can. Probably I'm going to, obviously you want to give a preference to flat damage because flat damage is going to modify everything else. The speed is going to be the second thing. I might end up probably leveling this up first, simply because the more revolutions, the more of these effects that it's going to be putting out, and it's going to actually increase the chance for Thunderclap. Thunderclap, you're going to probably want to put that on and level that up. Probably these 3 that I have in the top slots are going to be the first ones that you want to level up. The reason you want to level up Thunderclap is, and I'm going to have this on my the Gorgon as well, once I get over to the Vauban, is because it's putting so many rounds down range that it vastly increases the chance to stun. Now on any other weapon, the Thunderclap mod is pretty much a crap mod, but because the Gorgon puts out so many rounds, and it's firing, you know, with the speed trigger, it's going to get up to, I believe, a 75% increase. I might be mistaken on that, but it's going to be so fast that you're pretty much going to be able to stun lock your opponents, put all kinds of fire effects, electricity, etc., ignore armor, and just shred them. So dual Gorgon wheeling, stun locking, dual Gorgon stun locking. Basically, I'm going to have the exact same build on my main weapon for the most part. Once I get into the once I get the Gorgon on the Vauban, so it's going to be super effective. All right, and where's the main hand weapon? Oh no, there we go. And yeah, so 30, so 2 more, 60, yeah, 75 is going to be the max on that. And what was that going to show? That's not important. Yeah, still haven't gotten Thunderbolt, so I haven't been able to equip that, but I think I've been making do. Speed trigger and fast hands are very good to have on the Dread, simply because they're going to increase the this is going to increase the speed in which you grab another arrow, and this is going to increase the speed in which you pull back the string. So getting those two mods and getting them maxed if you're going to rock a bow is very important. Flat damage, crit damage, and crit damage and crit chance, also very important. And then having some type of modifications. You know, this bow, the Paris has armor pen, so you wouldn't need this on Paris. You could probably swap this out for electricity. I would say is your next best bet for getting some type of just basic damage modifiers, because all of these are stacking damage modifiers. Fire is just an additional 15% damage on top of all the other damage you're doing in crit damage, and then once you level it up, it's going to be 15, 30, you know, and so on and so forth. So these damage modifiers, they're not like a percentage of the damage that you're doing, they're actually additional damage on top of it. So you definitely want to have armor pen in your weapon. So I have this on here, but if you already have innate armor pen, if you're using a Paris, then you're going to want to add on to these damage modifiers, not only for the effects that they have, but also for the stacking additional damage. Let's see what else. All right, so these are good. Oh, okay, so this leveled up, so this is max now. And yeah, this is basically as good as it's going to get until this weapon can get prestiged. And this could potentially be one of the most powerful weapons of the game. I mean, its charge speed is so ridiculously fast. I wish I would have kind of shown it in the last... I can go ahead. I basically put a reach mod on here, and this is kind of a rare mod. It says it's common, but it's not common. I've only run into it one time. I only have one of them. I guess I can rock it for one more stage and just show you how quick the charge animation is on it. Kind of a rare thing. You just got to keep your eyes open. They actually have a Warframe Nexus app that you can get for Android phones, and I believe there's one for Apple as well. Don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure, but basically it lets you know what the alerts are going to be. So those question mark alerts that you have no idea what they are, it'll actually let you know. Okay, there we go. It's 8,000. What kind of a mission is this? Tenno operative located. I think this is going to be assassination, so I'm going to just solo this. And I'm going to accept. Just so you can see how much damage I'm able to bring to bear. And keep in mind, this is a pretty low level guy. This guy's like, what, level 16? It's just the weapons are leveled up.
This is a rescue mission.
Oh crap.
Free the hostage before any harm comes to them.
Yeah, so there it is.
It looks like the ship
1,000. One, yeah, not even a second.
warning. Heavy courier approaching.
And with reach, which I think is essential on this guy.
Doors are all locked. Time to break in.
Yeah, he's just absolutely shredding fools. I would say that if you're going to use the Dark Sword, the reach is necessary simply because it doesn't cleave multiple targets. On the wiki, it states that... Oh, crap. I'll get off of me, fire. But on the wiki, it states that if you're doing, say, just regular attacks like so, that it's going to spread the damage in a small AoE. But you're never going to be doing that because you're gonna rock the charge modifiers to increase the speed and just constantly spam like that.
Plans. Ignore your original objective. Leave nothing alive on this ship. Exterminate all life.
Well, I am glad that they actually changed the objective. And when they do that, when they change the objective in game, keep in mind that you don't have to do your original objective. In fact, if you pay attention to the person that's speaking to you, whenever you have a rescue mission, if they say that the captive has been found, let's say you walk into the prison and they say that you've found the captive, you actually don't have to find the captive. You don't actually have to take them out of the cell at all. Once you hear that sound cue that says you found the captive, you can just leave the prison and run to extraction and you'll get credit. You don't have to risk taking the person out of the cell and then possibly getting killed by mobs of enemies. That's just the way it works currently. And I'm assuming it's a bug, but they haven't fixed the bug, so just keep that in mind for now. Why make your life more difficult than it has to be? I'll let him take care of this guy. You can see how quickly he's burning this guy down. I did absolutely no damage to that guy. And he's not even maxed out. I don't even think he's level... Is he in his 20s? I think he's in his 20s maybe. They just completely shredded that guy. And I believe that was at a heavy lancer or something, so he had like shields too. And he just fried him in seconds.
Bypass complete. You may proceed.
Yeah, he's a regular lancer, I guess. Uh-oh. What the heck hit me? Alright, I'm gonna revive. Somebody had to shoot me from across the way. Oh, it must have been this guy. Shot me in the back. Oh, he had a flamethrower. Yeah. Alright. No more mistakes. And this is a bug that I've been running into where sometimes you have green lockers and for whatever reason they won't open. I think it's probably related to that new mod that they added in that can open red lockers. I'm guessing that they had to do some reprogramming and maybe that's why it's not working, but I've seen that quite a bit recently. Post patch. Those are new enemy. They can, not too bad solo, but they can be highly annoying when you're doing the grenade defense missions. Well, flamer. Ouch. How dare you kill my death cube. Fortunately, I got 3 more left. Fool. I think that guy's up top. He must be up top. With this guy, he's really lumbering, but just using this wave dash technique, which is pretty easy to get accustomed to. He really doesn't have any issues getting through the level.
Mission complete. Excellent work, Tenno.
Yeah, level 13 Rhino. And was that like a level 5 difficulty mission? Alright, let's see. Arsenal. Let's swap some stuff out here. Oh, Dark Sword's max level. Served me well, but it is time to move on. And these are going to be your top mods: flat damage, killing blow, which increases your charge damage, reflex coil, which increases your charge speed, as well as organ shatter to increase the amount of critical damage, and true steel, which increases the crit chance. And then you can add in some elemental mods after that. Right now I can only fit on Molten Impact, and then I only have 2 left, but obviously once I polarize the most expensive slot, I'll be able to put a second elemental mod on there. And at that point I'll pretty much be full. I won't be able to put anything else on the weapon because every slot will be full, but pretty sure it was this 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. So I only have 1 more slot. So yeah. Yeah, I guess polarizing, yeah, I wasn't even thinking about it, but polarizing isn't really gonna matter past a certain point. I mean, except for leveling. I mean, like, well, I guess in this weapon it's not gonna matter. I mean, certain weapons it is gonna matter because you can level the mods up, like say for this it can, you know, go up 11 times. Well, actually not even this, but more along the lines of something like Serration that has so many, I mean, just in this build for this weapon you have like a couple things like reach that only has three hash marks on the side, you know, so total you don't need as much polarization. Let me just apply that for this before I make my point. But compared that to this weapon, that you're going to need a lot more polarization on it, because you can see most of these things, like even the cryo rounds, they have quite a few hash marks. So I mean, the polarization, it's still going to matter simply because it's going to give you more points that you can put into things like this. So even though everything's maxed out and I have I could fit everything here, by polarizing the slots I'm going to be able to put more energy in. It's just not going to matter in certain weapons, because maybe the mods are, you know, for instance, like that melee weapon, all the mods were pretty much maxed or close to max. So the only ones that weren't were the 2 or the 1 elemental mod, I believe. So maybe it's not going to matter as much on the melee weapon, depending on which melee you're using, but everything else, it is still going to be quite important to prestige several times. So this is potentially one of the most powerful weapons in the game, the Dark Sword. I actually didn't even use it that much in the game. I just used it to charge, but it is a very effective weapon for killing. The problem is it doesn't have the cleave, and that's why I'm switching to the hate, because I can basically do everything that the Dark Sword did as far as doing insane charge damage, but it can do it can hit multiple enemies, if I'm not mistaken. But I guess I'm going to find out if I'm mistaken. Let's see, despair, still working on that, so everything else is good then, I think. Yeah. My problem right now is that I just don't have any cores. Let me see cores. Yeah, I don't have any cores. So I can't level up anything even if I wanted to. Although I can, well actually no, I can. If I have duplicates, I can. But I don't have duplicates for the Radio Blaster Stomp, so I can't do that. I can do my Sentinel though. And it's important that you make sure you're coming in here and leveling this guy up. So he's got 2 more points. Yeah, I don't have duplicates of Swift Death or Vaporize. That's interesting too because they haven't I've gotten duplicates of all this stuff like Ghost Precepts and things, but I haven't seen any of the Swift Death or Vaporize things drop in game. See, I have a bunch of Guardian. And I have a bunch of, let me see, if I go to mods, Sentinel. You can see I have these Warrior Precepts, Ghost Precepts, and I've like, yeah, see, I have a ton of Ghost Precepts, but these other Precepts haven't been, the new ones I've only have 2, so I can't even use these to, I could probably use the Ghost because I mean, I have a max Ghost, so. But I would probably, like, even if you're already going to take the extra ones you have, I would probably leave at least one naked version of every single one, because I have a feeling since they did another, I guess what do you call it, aggressive Sentinel, that they might do some more stealth ones, and I don't know if they're going to use necessarily the Ghost mod, or if the precepts are always going to be separate for every Sentinel, but it's a possibility that they might use it. So, you know, and I think that rule stays true for pretty much anything. Like, if you think you're going to use several mods on different Warframes, make sure you keep a naked version of it. That way, whenever you're early leveling, you can slot it in there. Whenever you don't have that many points to start and you're just leveling it up, that way you can put a naked version of it in there and have some type of an increase in your DPS for weapons and for Warframes as well. All right. So we've talked about build and everything. This guy, the only problem with him, like, I wanted to do some defense missions, but right now with the weapon I'm using, the bow is god awful. Please do yourself a favor if you're gonna go and you're gonna do defense missions. And I mean I'm about to break this rule myself because I'm probably gonna do some defense missions, but don't, if you're seriously trying to get, I mean, I understand if you're trying to level up the weapon, which is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go in one and level up the weapon. But if you're just trying to go in and actually be effective and get to a later wave, don't go in with a bow. Don't go in with a Snipetron. You know, those weapons are not effective. Unless, of course, you have a what's it called, Thunderbolt mod. Maybe then it'll be effective, but other than that, you are not going to be able to put out the amount of damage necessary to be effective, unless you're using other abilities. Unless you're, say, you know, on a frost, and the majority of your DPS is coming from your AOE. Then it doesn't, you know, it doesn't quite matter what your main hand weapon is, because you're, you know, or say you're a Saren spamming Miasma, or a Banshee spamming her ultimate, which name escapes me right now. So, I mean, if you're dependent, if you're basically like a spellcaster for all intents and purposes, then that's a different story. But for the most part, you know, stay away from those weapons. Trust me. I have them leveled up. I use them. They're not as effective as rocking a bolter or a Brant Vandal. Either one of those is exceptional at downing massive quantities of enemies. Now I have a Heck too, but I haven't leveled that up. It's just right now the magazine capacity is the only thing I'm worried about it with. That's why I'm going with the Gorgon instead on my my tanker build. But enough talking. Let's get in here and do a defense mission. Why do I keep clicking Arsenal? Eris Sedna. Now I will say that the new tile sets that they got in the game are pretty spectacular, and I could probably go show you guys one of these before I do a defense mission. Earth, Pluto, where are these things at? $2K isn't worth my time. It's this Saturn. Infested. Grenier. Okay, well, let's go online now. I don't know, it'll take forever getting to these missions. Yeah, I think she has one of the new tile sets. I'm going to go ahead and go in here just to show you the new tile sets. And I'll start it off. No, this is an older one, it looks like. Although I could be mistaken. Yeah, you can see he spends a second being fancy before he actually swings. So big difference, but again, this is unmodded. But the amount of damage increase for the charge is pretty significant. And the animations are pretty badass for this, you gotta admit. And seeing as the only other, I like how they put the lights on there, the way the along the side, like the old school mods used to be. That looks pretty cool. But
keep moving. None of the ship scanners have detected you.
At what point did human beings stop speaking English? And the weird thing is, like, she's not speaking English, but these guys all speak English. Is that like placeholder text? Maybe this is a new area. See, I don't know how the linking works whenever it comes to them sticking the because that starter area is very familiar. It seems like it's the kind of area that I've been to many a time when exploring Grenier areas. This might be a new area. I'll be able to tell when I get later, deeper into it. This kind of looks like it's going to be one of those areas that when you do the assassination missions on the mining equipment. It kind of reminds me of those areas.
All Khmer females undergo mandatory military training. Kayla in particular revels in combat. She extended her term for more than a decade before returning to the court. Do not underestimate her.
Wow. Okay. Alright. I got a little worried when I saw that because for those who don't know, when Update 8 first launched, there were areas like this that looked like they were a void, and you'd walk into them and then you just walk off the map because they had some issue with the system that was linking. No, this is kind of an old area. This isn't exactly what I was looking for. Yeah, this is... Normally if this is an assassination mission, there would be tanks down here.
Highly trained Khmer Marines with her. We suspect that they are as much for her entertainment as they are for protection.
But they have a newer tile set. It looks like a ship. And it's pretty amazing. Let's try to snipe these guys. Now the Dread does not have nearly the same drop-off that the Paris has, from what I've read. I wouldn't know because I haven't actually used the Paris. I have one, I just haven't used it, which kind of sucks because this does more damage. The only advantage that the Paris has is the Paris has innate armor penetration, and the Dread does not. But the Dread does more damage, so. And it does 3 times damage to infested as well, so. It's just a superior weapon all around. Surprised other people haven't joined. I'm probably gonna just do a lap around quickly. One, I don't want to be on top of her, and two, I wanted to make sure that there wasn't somebody up here sniping me. This guy's just shredding her shields. I'll just back him off. Okay, finally somebody joined. Pretty sure I could have taken her out myself eventually. It's just going to take a while. And my Sentinel's probably going to get killed in the process. Just go ahead and use these throwing knives.
Target down. Assassination contract complete. Great work, Tenno. You're still in the clear. No detection from ship's sensors.
That amazes me that I had never been seen prior to that. Level up 1. Oh, okay, it's my scythe. You can see the ridiculous attack speed. Now there's travel time for those, but still, the amount of damage that they do. These could easily be one of the top damaging weapons in the game. I might add them to my prestige build, but I'm just gonna have to check out dual Broncos. I think dual Broncos might still be superior in damage, but I know they are as far as just per hit. But when it comes to the speed, like I mean, you can see the huge chunk of them that you start off with. I think it's the base number is 210, and the reload time is like lightning fast, because I don't even have a reload mod on these things. They're just naturally that quick to reload. After I expend 10, well, he's gonna get killed if I hang him out there. I've been kind of spoiled by the dark sword. Who's shooting me? And these are super effective against Grenier because they ignore armor. Pretty sure. I know one version of him ignores armor. I have to check my mods and see. You can double check on the wiki. God, hot knife through butter. Are you kidding me? And I'm pretty sure I have the penetration mod. That's why I'm able to just like knock those guys out even though they have their shields up. Because you penetrate through the shields. Let me see. Yeah, Seeker. Yeah, Puncture. I got Puncture on. So when you have Puncture on, say the Grenadier that are holding the shield up, and I mean you have some options with fighting those guys. For those that don't know, your kick in game, like if you run at somebody and you have to get a dash going, so you have to have some speed going, and then jump, and then if you press the crouch button, you'll do a flying kick. It's an actual, it has collision to it, so you'll actually kick them in game and knock them down. For the guys that have shields, you can knock their shield away. Or if you happen to have a Seeker mod, it will pass through their shield and hit them. That's why those were able to circumvent the shield that they were holding up and still kill them. Not that it's that difficult to, you know, hit their head over the shield or their arm or something, or wait until they move it away, but I also put the deep freeze on there just to slow the enemy down while I'm rapidly tossing the kunai at them. And of course, increasing the fire rate is why that's so effective. Crit damage, and flat damage. And those are my base. As I get more points, I'm going to put more effects on. You know, obviously heat charge and convulsion, or basically fire and electricity are going to be the next ones. Armor piercing. I'm pretty sure it has base armor piercing. Although I know between the kunai and the despair, there's going to be a difference. I'm not sure if the difference is that these ones have greater damage to infested, or that the difference is that the kunai has armor piercing and this one doesn't. So I'm not sure. I would just double check on the wiki to be sure. Because unfortunately they don't have good descriptions in the game. That's another issue, is that you can't just cursor on a weapon and it tells you basically what it does and it gives you the stats, but it doesn't actually get into any great detail, you know, as it would in an MMO and show you, you know, a more detailed tab. So that's something it would be nice to see in the future, is to actually have a more advanced tabbing system so that they can get into deeper stats for every single weapon and show you, so you're able to make more informed decisions when you're buying your weapons. I also bought quite a few weapons. Let's see. Where's my arsenal? Yeah, I got the Latron. I mean, this is maxed, and the Snipetron's maxed, Branton's maxed, and the Bolter's maxed, but I have quite a few things. The Gorgon, I'm going to be trying out the Hack, Strong, Paris, all this stuff, and Melee. I don't know why it's not showing that in weapons. Yeah. Dual Heat, Dual Ether, Meyer. I maxed the Glaive, Dark Sword's maxed. I got lucky, both of these dropped the same day. And I haven't even touched the Skana Prime. I think the only rare one that I need to get are the ones in the towers, which I'm, you know, if you watch the first part of the video, I'm not going to be touching those towers until they change the way they work. But the Pangolin sword, I think, is the only one that I need from the defense mission. I want to get the dual ethers leveled up as well. But we'll start with the hate. We'll see how that is. Alright, so these are good. Do I have any mods? Cores? No, didn't get any cores. Let's see if this is no. I'm not sure if Vahek is in one of the new environments. Let's go find out. Then I can always cancel out and just leave. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. And now that they have the flamers and some other elemental damage enemies, they've actually gotten elemental resistant mods as well. They did add quite a few mods into the game, but they have a ice, fire, and electricity elemental damage resistance. And I just happened to get lucky enough to get all three. But I don't necessarily know if, until they add more mod slots, I don't think it's all that practical to use them, to be quite honest. Unless maybe you're playing PvP and you want to build against one particular one that somebody might be using.
Much-needed stability to this sector. There is the assassination target. You know what to do.
To the walls. Try and get behind him. We'll flag him out. Combat formation Bravo.
Won't be bothering us anymore. Let's get out of here.
Behind him. We'll flag him.
There are Grenier Marines all over.
Cover me. Kill him.
No, he was supposed to be modded to have given him additional abilities, but I'm not really seeing it. I feel like the bosses in Warframe in general, the issue is that they don't have good phases. These guys need to go play some MMOs and look at boss phasing, or even some classic games like Contra and things like that, and work on their how they phase bosses. You know, because just adding something as simple as "don't stand in the fire" would help up the challenge significantly. I'd say the closest they got to that is if you play the Jackal. Sometimes there's like the it'll shoot off the missiles, and if you're standing in the wrong spot, then all the missiles will land in your face and will instantly down you.
Doors are all locked. Time to break in.
But other than that, I feel like most of the bosses are just bullet sponges,
Free to proceed.
which isn't really challenging at all. It's just a matter of time before they go down. There needs to be a lot more movement, a lot more, you know. It would be nice if they were, say, they felt as active as the Stalker does in game, and just had more phases and more abilities, more things that you had to dodge. I think if they went back and they adjusted all those boss fights, there would be quite a bit more. And also if they, maybe if they had like a prestige level of difficulty in the game with all the bosses, that upped all the bosses' difficulty. And also the loot rewards for the missions. I think that would be something that would be enjoyable for endgame players. You know, something to mix up the monotony between defense level grinding for mods. I think it's definitely going to be needed for to extend the game's longevity. Because I'm certainly not going to be sitting around paying $5 every time I want to play a brand new level.
Watch yourself. Soldiers are on the way.
And maybe people are now, but that's gonna get old real quick too. It's not really a sustainable model in the long term. You know, I could do that, right? All right. Yes, we'll leave that session. Oh, is it still the same facility mission? It's got 3 minutes left. I'm gonna assume it is. Yeah, it is. I'm gonna get a defense mission in before I end this video. Apologize, I haven't featured any new content, but unfortunately they got the pay to play working for most of the new content. So, and once I figure out where the new tile set is, I'll feature it in a new video. But I am not paying $5 just to play a map 5 times. That's completely ridiculous. What's this? Ceres, Venus, Earth, Mercury, Jupiter, Pluto. And before somebody goes into my comment sections and says, well, why are you a founder if you don't like spending money? I can understand this. There's a difference between buying something and owning something and being nickeled and dime and buying it and just, you know, I mean, like, when you talk about disposable content, and I'm sorry that I'm harping on this issue, but if you look at something like map packs, which a few years ago was something that gamers hated. Like, it was like, oh, map packs, that's garbage. I don't want anything like that. Why am I paying for this this small little piece? Now look what it's evolved into. It's evolved into, you can play the level 5 times and then it goes away. I mean, like, how close are we getting to basically the old arcade system? You know, like, what was it going to be next? 25 cents every time you want to play? You know, was the new Xbox gonna, you know, you gotta put quarters in it before you can pick up the controller? I mean, you know, look what they're doing to the gaming. So, I mean, you got to be aware of that, and you can't be this raging fanboy when you play these games. You actually have to defend yourself. And if gamers don't get together and say anything about this, you can expect them to continue it. You know, the same's true. Like, if you look at with the models of the new consoles that they're bringing out, and Xbox is the most obvious one because they've just at their latest event they just came out and said it, that they have a system in the game that for used games, it's basically your games are tied to your account. So if you sell a game and it's being sold to used, whoever buys it is going to have to pay a fee in order to use it online. So they've just came out and said it. Sony, they've been a little more cloak and dagger with it, but if you go look it up, they have a similar system. They're just not using it on their first party games, and it's going to be left up to the third party publisher who, I mean, you know, like, use your brain. Pretty much what third party publisher is going to say, no, I don't want free money. So you can expect that that's going to be the norm now, that if you get a used game, you have to pay an additional fee just to use it on these new consoles. And I mean, obviously we're talking about Warframe here. This is a game that is free to play. It's on PC, but you know, the thing that relates is just the pay model. What exactly do you have to invest into these games in order to see some type of return? I think the free to play model is a good model. Some people they complain about the pay to win aspects of it, but I think there are games, again, like Dota 2 that do it well. I would say even a game like League of Legends is not as good as Dota 2 simply because you have to continually buy the heroes, and that's, you know, kind of, you know, a system that I was suggesting that this game ape, but you know, it doesn't really have I mean, it has dueling, but it doesn't have the versus multiplayer, so it's not as big of an issue with this game. I think eventually it is going to get the versus multiplayer, and it's probably going to be a feature that keeps this game's longevity, so it might turn into an issue of pay to win in the long term, unless they balance it correctly or they vastly change this model. But I think as gamers, it's something that you always have to constantly look and scrutinize and see if you're getting taken for a ride by these companies. I would say for the most part that Digital Extremes has been pretty good with the way that they've monetized their system, but I really feel like these Orikin towers are a huge misstep. The forma, I mean, that's like a toss-up. I mean, it's needed for the construction of again, the clan areas, so I guess, you know, that's like an additional feature, so it's not as big of a deal. But the Orikin towers, if you want to play content, you gotta pay for, like, you know, like it's a ride at the fair. I mean, it's completely ridiculous. So here's hoping that they'll change that. Let's see, Eris. And definitely, if you're on the design council, hit up the forums, open a thread, you know, speak out about it, because it is a very important issue. All right, wave 1. I don't really have this guy's abilities. I think Iron Skin and Charge are the only ones that I have modded at all. And now my melee is garbage, so. I mean, we should be fine for the first 10 levels, but after that, it's a crapshoot. Although most people tend to leave after 15 anyway. Unless people are running like a dual Nyx setup or a Frost setup. They tend to get cold feet for the higher levels. Come on. It definitely needs some type of a
Multiple biosignatures detected. We've got infested incoming.
some type of a mod that affects my energy to keep me in the game. Oh, that's the, what's her face? The Stalker. I was like, who is that?
Heavy infestation ahead. Get ready.
I don't know if the only person that gets something from the stalker is the person who's being stalked or what, but I'd be kind of pissed if, because I just spent like 800 getting all of the stalker weapons, and I was kind of convinced that I wasn't gonna, that they made him rare enough that I wasn't probably gonna run into him for a while. But I'd be kind of pissed if I ended up getting a blueprint off of him right now.
Extraction is ready, unless you can handle more of the enemy.
And let me just claim an exit, because I want to see if I end up getting something from that stalker.
Very impressive, Tenno. You held them all back. Time to
12 life points, strike, staggering force, marathon, fusion shock. Now it doesn't look like it. I'm gonna check the blueprints just in case. Yeah, you can see my head like shit damage done, but it's mainly because I'm using a bow. What's this? Let me check Nexus on my phone, see which alert. Ooh, Nick's helmet. I'll get that. And how much time do I have left? I have 25 minutes left on it. Let me just check something real quick. Foundry. Orikin Catalyst. I still need this control module. Oh. Banshee helmet's good. Yeah, I'm building a Banshee right now. I'm missing the chassis blueprint, so I gotta do a ton of defense missions to hopefully drop another one. Saren chassis, Trinity systems, Gorgon. I don't need another Gorgon. Yeah, it doesn't look like. I guess it's just whoever he stalks gets the item. Yeah, so I guess my purchase was still valid. Scorpion Ash helmet. I'm probably gonna rock the Scorpion next, so I may as well get that. Yeah. Do I use any gallium for it? I don't think so. Well, this is what I got on. What's this do? Warframe helmet that increases health but reduces sprint speed. Oh wow. Yeah, let's go for it. Since I'm using them anyway. Yeah. And what else? Oh, I still have enough for this? I need more no-roads then. Yeah, no-roads and control module, so there we go. Yeah. Okay, that's a Corpus mission. It's probably an old area that everybody's seen before, so I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here. I'm gonna keep on grinding. Next time I'm gonna put up another video. Hopefully it'll be a lot less preachy and a lot more fun, but I just had to speak out on the issues that I'm having problems with in Warframe. I think overall it's a good game. Hopefully they just don't continue down the pay-to-play aspects of it. I mean, I understand they're a company, they need to make money in order to continue putting out the product, but you know, as somebody that supports the game, it has to be in a way that is not nickel and dimey, you know. By all means, sell us weapons. By all means, sell us Warframes, outfits, costumes, things along that nature. New experiences, but we want those things to be permanent. We don't want to sit there and pay to play a few, instances of a level. I mean, like, even during this video, what did I've probably done more than 5 nodes. But was that worth $5? I mean, come on. Let's be real here. That is not the direction I want the game to go in. If it continues to go in this direction, you're probably going to see an end to these videos, and the game's probably going to fall off. People are not going to be able to. It's not a sustainable model to continually pay for new content. I mean, it is if that content is permanent, but not if the content is just $5 to play 5 nodes, $5 to play 5 nodes. You can't do that, and nobody wants to be stuck playing the old stuff that they've continually played over and over again. I mean, if you're going to bring out new map packs, that's different. Like if it was an entire planet and you paid a flat fee to play an entire planet or a whole new area, just a la a map pack in any other game, that makes perfect sense. But the way it's going right now, bad on you guys. You can do better than that. So here's hoping that things get better. This is 1Bit signing off. Take care, guys. Like, thumbs, sub. Later.